Thank you for tuning in to another edition of Checkered Nation. I'm Mark.
I'm Jelanie.
We started this show 2 years ago, and the purpose for starting this show was to have an impact on someone out there who has no one to talk to. I said I would never make fun of anyone or allow anyone else who's a part of the show to make fun of any group of people. We're just trying to educate and to help someone out there and to give others a voice. So our show today is going to be a little serious. We're going to talk about the effects of rape and molestation. And we both have first-hand knowledge of this. Jelanie, you want to share?
Hi. On a serious note though, I was molested at the ages of 9 and 13 by my stepfather. He molested me one time, I didn't know, and then when it happened the second time, because I was sleeping, and then when it happened the second time, I was for sure. And I think that a lot of the reason that I had so much and didn't forgive and couldn't let go and held on to it was because for me, nothing was done. It was blown under the rug, it was hush-hush, and knowing at that young age that it's not right, something is wrong, the person should be paying, and for your parent who is supposed to protect you, not to do anything about it, affects you. It's been a long struggle, but I've learned how to go ahead and go on with my life and do things positive and just not be so scared or fear the unknown like my mother was. And I don't blame her, it's a generational thing, and I think that us as a generation now, we're not the same as they were raised. I think back then they were raised to keep things like that quiet. You would think that things wouldn't happen, people wouldn't believe you, and then it's so hard to be jailed because you're a race, a different race, and they didn't want to say things. We weren't supposed to say things back then. And I think now with education and knowing that, you know, doing the right thing helps and can prevent somebody from doing the wrong thing as an adult, meaning drugs, alcohol, being promiscuous, turning to men for the protection that they didn't get from their parent. In my case, well, you know, you never know. Kids go through so much, and yeah. So in my story, I was promiscuous as a young teen. I grew out of that, got my stuff together. I wasn't really all out there promiscuous. I had unprotected sex with a couple of people that I shouldn't have, and when I was younger, and just didn't care, you know what I mean? But fortunately, God has always been on my side, and I was already taken care of, and I got it together at a really young age and said, hey, I don't want to live like this, and I don't want to be a victim. I want to do something about it. And I think that turning my life and doing something with my life for the best made me who I am. And I eventually, actually, when I got grown, called the police because it was hurting me so much in the inside, like a couple years ago, and tried to do something on my own about it. And the police didn't do anything, but I was able to let go of the hate and forgive. And it took me all this time, but it was a really good thing letting go. And I didn't know I was carrying hate until I let it go. It felt so good to just lift something off and say, you know what, I'm giving it to God. I'm not gonna take it.
Right. I'm gonna talk about it from a gay man's perspective. I was molested by my brother then at the time, my stepbrother, when I was like 9 years old. He basically woke me up in the middle of the night and he told me, be quiet, this won't hurt. He basically penetrated me. And
I was raped.
Okay, it was rape. And it was pushed underneath the rug. I did tell my mother the next morning. However, nothing was done about it. It was pushed underneath the rug. And like you, I know firsthand that back then in the late 70s and stuff, it was pushed underneath the rug. And to this day, a lot of families want to pretend it doesn't exist. However, when you do pretend it don't happen, it takes a huge toll on how you feel about yourself. You question your judgment in other people. It's hard to develop healthy relationships with other people. You really have to get therapy. That's something I had to go through. It affects your intimate relationships or inability to have a healthy relationship with another man. And I know just being a gay man, a lot of gay men have intimacy issues. I'm not going to sit here and say all of them were raped, but a lot of gay men who were molested or raped, it affects your ability to trust another man, to open up. And like you said about going out there and having sex with strangers, that's one of the effects. I
didn't have sex with strangers.
Okay,
but it's still,
sorry.
I was too young to be having sex. Just to clarify.
But
and it was unprotected, not responsible. Use protection. Go ahead. Sorry.
You don't want to have healthy relationships with other men because you're so afraid. And the key is, right, your wall is up. You have to get professional help. It's not something you could resolve on your own. It also caused a lot of people to go into alcohol and drugs. And basically, we're sharing our story to help others out there who might have been through a similar situation, been raped by a family member or a close friend of the family, or basically anyone. Please, there are resources out there, but do not feel you are alone. There are resources out there to help you. And remember that if someone did that to you, don't blame yourself.
It's not your fault.
It's not your fault.
And the thing of why it's so important to go ahead and get therapy is because when it happens to you, you are that age.
Right.
You are always that age. A part of me will always be that little girl that didn't get protected. You know what I mean? You remember that moment forever. Right. It's locked in your head. And not that you don't want to forget necessarily, but you want to be able to move on. And therapy is the key, telling someone, but forgiveness. For me, it goes about how you go about it. Everybody has different things, but my faith helped me out a lot. Just knowing that it will be dealt with by somebody else. I don't have to carry this. You know what I mean? And letting stuff go. You know, therapy was the key.
Also report it to the authorities. Okay, this will empower you so much. Be your own advocate.
Be your own advocate.
Do not let someone tell you just forget about it.
If someone else pushes it under the rug, does not mean that you have to. You can go ahead and take care of it.
If it doesn't feel right, then that means it's not appropriate. Okay, so please, if you are going through this,
underage,
or you know someone, please report it. Confide in someone you know you could trust and get help, please.
Yes, and all that Mark said. More importantly, talk to someone. Talk to someone. Do not keep this in. It's not okay. You know, do what you have to do to protect yourself when no one else protects you. Even as a kid, we have many resources.
Thank you for tuning in. And again, Checkered Nation will always be your voice. We are here to help others out there. We're not here, again, to make fun of anyone. We're only here to help. So if you have any ideas for any future shows, please write to us at checkerednation@yahoo.com or go to our website, Checkered Nation. Okay? Take care.